You know I'm sad because you're not subscribing to my channel. But okay, let's enjoy the story. In the village of Nsumba, hidden deep within the great Baka forest, lived a young girl named Adia. She was no warrior, no healer, and certainly not a leader, just a curious child with a love for exploring forbidden places. One afternoon, while chasing a golden butterfly past the elder's hut, she stumbled into a hidden cave concealed behind thick vines. Inside, a faint glow illuminated the walls, revealing intricate carvings of ancient warriors, hunters, and chiefs. At the center of the cave rested a magnificent mask, carved from ebony wood, with swirling golden patterns and cowrie shells embedded along its brow. As she stepped closer, the air thickened, and a deep voice whispered through the chamber. "Who dares awaken the spirits?" Adia froze. The voice seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. I am Adia," she stammered. The mask pulsed with a soft light, and suddenly her mind filled with voices, not chaotic, but wise and familiar. Flashes of warriors standing against invaders, healers tending to the wounded, and leaders making sacrifices for their people filled her vision. These were the spirits of her ancestors. "The time has come," one voice said. "Protect the mask," another commanded. Then as quickly as the vision came, it vanished. The cave fell silent. Adia stumbled back, breathless. That night she lay awake in her small hut, her grandmother's snores filling the room. She couldn't forget what the voices had said. The next morning her fears were confirmed when she overheard the village elders speaking in hushed voices. "The strangers come tomorrow. They seek our relics, our history. If they find the mask, it will be lost forever." Adia's stomach twisted. Strangers? She had heard of them. Men from distant lands who carried weapons of fire and spoke of gold. They came with false smiles, taking sacred artifacts and leaving villages empty. The next day, men in strange clothes arrived. Their leader, a tall man with pale skin and sharp eyes, smiled warmly. "We come in peace," he said, offering gifts of mirrors, salt, and beads. The elders remained silent, but Adia saw the way his eyes wandered, searching. That night she crept back to the cave. She had made up her mind. She would move the mask before they could steal it, but as her fingers touched the mask, the cave shuddered. "Are you ready to become the guardian?" the voices asked. Adia hesitated. She was just a child, but she knew she couldn't let the mask fall into the wrong hands. "Yes," she whispered. A rush of wind howled through the cave. The mask glowed, and suddenly she knew things she had never been taught: how to call the rain, how to track a spirit's footsteps, how to summon the strength of her ancestors. Then she heard a sound outside. Footsteps. The strangers had followed her. Adia turned just in time to see the pale-eyed man step into the cave, his expression changing from curiosity to greed as he saw the mask in her hands. "That does not belong to you, child," he said, stepping forward. Adia held the mask close. She felt its warmth, its power. "It belongs to my people, and you will not take it," she said, her voice layered with the strength of countless ancestors. The air crackled with unseen energy. The cave walls trembled. The carvings on the walls began to glow. The man took a step back, but it was too late. Shadows twisted from the carvings, forming into the spirits of ancient warriors. Their eyes burned like embers as they surrounded him, whispering words in a language he could not understand. Terrified, the stranger stumbled out of the cave, shouting for his men. They ran, disappearing into the forest. Adia stood in the silence, the spirits fading back into the walls. She knew now. She was no longer just a child. She was the guardian. When she returned to the village, the elders gasped at the glow in her eyes, the weight of knowledge in her small frame. They knelt before her, no longer seeing just Adia, but the vessel of their ancestors. And from that night forward, no one ever doubted her place in the village again.